Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Engines of Somewhere Wales. Before we start, you may have noticed a new intro we got. Well, to explain, a person by the name of The Broken Guy 101 on the Somewhere Wales server has been making edits of the Somewhere Wales engines and decided to make me one out of nowhere, and I thought it was so cool. I asked them if I could use it for the series, and they said yes, so yeah, big thanks to them for the new intro. Anyway, moving on from that, last time we covered Dylan Aeldon, one of the Somewhere Wales Light Railway's most elusive engines, but today we'll be covering the smallest engine ever to run on the railway. That's right, today it's Wannabe the Wannabe Diesel. Like usual, we'll be going over her relatively small presence in the game's lore, her small history, and small basis. So it's gonna be a bit of a smaller episode compared to others, but hey, sometimes the best things come in small packages. So, without further ado, let's get the jerry can out, fill her up with leaded low-octane fuel, pull the starter, and get going on this small video on Wannabe. Wannabe would be created out of random parts found around the Kitsbow Works as a replacement to Stonemason and would take over the maintenance of way train as he had previously been the main maintenance of way engine for the line. She would originally be built without a name, but the workers would nickname her Wannabe as she was a wannabe diesel, and one of them would eventually cast a nameplate and put it on her fuel tank as a joke, cementing her name permanently as Wannabe. Wannabe is a 220 locomotive, although not in the traditional sense. She has one unpowered axle at the front and a single powered axle at the rear. Wannabe is a petrol engine, meaning she runs off gasoline, or petrol if you're in the UK, having a 2-cylinder setup as denoted by her engine having 2 spark plugs on the outside. And before anyone says anything, yes, I know the lore denotes that she is now a diesel mechanic, but as of now we have nothing new on her lore, so I'll be focusing on her current design, which is a petrol powered engine. Wannabe is 7 feet long, 3.5 feet wide, and about 3.3 feet tall based on measuring the abandoned slate wagons at the Kits Works. Wannabe has a top speed of 30 studs per second displayed on her GUI, but her actual top speed is 23 studs per second, which is around 16 miles per hour for traction effort of like 50 or something, with a horsepower rating of around 2. Wannabe is equipped with a high-pitched whistle that has been previously used in a lot of the smaller engines, but now she is the last one using it, so here are some samples. Wannabe would work on the line, shunting trains and running up and down, hauling the maintenance of way train, with really nothing notable about her time on the railway. She would continue on to run the line until it closed in 1954, and was subsequently and unceremoniously dismantled shortly afterwards, ending her uneventful life. However, when the railway was preserved in 1965, a replica of Wannabe would be constructed and now runs on the railway doing what I can assume is either maintenance of way trains or just puttering around for fun. Wannabe would created around September of 2019. It would be released next month on October 31st, 2019. Wannabe's development would be somewhat uneventful, bar a funny story which I'll get into in the next section. Wannabe's life in game has been pretty uneventful as she had not changed one bit since her release, besides some music replacement during the 2022 audio purge. Interestingly enough, Wannabe was only one out of 3 engines that didn't have all their music fully scrubbed during the 2022 audio purge, along with Romney and I think Eustace, but I don't fully remember. As of now, Wannabe is currently the oldest engine running the game, taking a title after Knickerbocker got a rebuild in the May 25th, 2025 update, and so far she has little to no problems whatsoever, still running smoothly to this day. This also technically means Wannabe is also the oldest piece of functional rolling stock in game, as she was built off the original flat wagon model that was replaced during the 2022 update. A rebuild is planned for her as stated on her spawn board, but as of now, there's been no information on this whatsoever besides the fact it'll be a diesel mechanical instead of a petrol mechanical. As of now, Wannabe can still be seen puttering up and down the line, hauling either the maintenance of way train from Corsham or small goods trains around the yards at Kits or Andreas, and will most likely continue doing this for many years to come. Wannabe is directly based on the Penryn Railway Weed Killer wagon, which was built by the Penryn Railway to spray weed killer onto the right-of-way. The mechanism was operated by pushing down a lever which would engage the belt while in motion and subsequently spray the line. Wannabe is effectively built exactly like the wagon, albeit being given a petrol engine in place of the weed killer mechanism. A funny story I learned about this is that apparently during the development of Wannabe, Denver was given photos of the Penryn Railway weed wagon by Young Viewers, aka Direwolf's developer, but was not told it was a weed killer wagon, and thus they assumed it was a petrol locomotive, only to find out later it was actually a weed killer wagon, which is why Wannabe looks exactly like the wagon. Well, that ends this episode of Engines of Somewhere Wales. Quite a short one this time around, but hey, a small runtime for a small engine seems quite fitting. Thanks to Youngviews for confirming the story of Wannabe's development. Their Twitter will be linked in the description down below, and thank you to A Broken Guy 101 for the new intro. Anyway, tune in next time as we move up the line to Gallagher's Mine and visit the engines they have. I'm not sure which one I should cover first, so I'll make a poll for you all to vote on the next engine I cover, so go check that out in the link in the description or my community tab. Anyway, that's all I have to say for now. Thank you all so much for watching and have a great day. I'll see you all later.